Everyone has an opinion on who the best college football programs of all time are, but today we're not doing opinions, we're not doing nostalgia, and we're definitely not doing recruiting hype. This ranking is built on 5 hard metrics over the last 10 seasons. Number 1, win percentage. Number 2, college football playoff appearances. Number 3, national championships. Number 4, New Year's Six bowls. And number 5, NFL draft output, meaning real talent development. Every team is evaluated using the same criteria. We're going from number 10 all the way to number 1. Let's get into it. Now, to kick things off at number 10, we have the Florida State Seminoles. This ranking reflects resilience, not dominance. From 2015 through the early 2020s, Florida State endured coaching turnover and uneven seasons. Later in the decade, the program somewhat stabilized, returned to relevance, and maintained slow but sure NFL-level talent output. They had an overall record of 75-55. They didn't win a conference championship or a national title, but had Orange Bowl wins and Cheez-It Bowl wins. They were consistently multi-pick NFL draft classes. Dalvin Cook rushed for 3,800 yards, averaged 6.6 yards per carry, and scored 40 touchdowns at his time at Florida State. He was also a two-time first-team All-ACC selection. Brian Burns recorded 23 sacks and 37 tackles for loss and was named first-team All-ACC. He developed into an elite edge rusher and became a first-round NFL draft pick. Florida State earns a spot by rebuilding without completely disappearing. Now, at number 9, the Texas Longhorns. This really shows how late decade performance can reshape perception. While the early years hurt their overall numbers, the Longhorns finished strong with college football playoff appearances, major bowl wins, and elite draft classes. They had an overall record of 82-45. They had one conference championship, being a Big 12 championship, no national titles, but they did win the Sugar Bowl, the Alamo Bowl, and had a college football playoff semifinal appearance. They had multiple first-round picks. Bijan Robinson rushed for 3,400 yards, scored 41 total touchdowns, and won the Doak Walker Award, as long as being a unanimous All-American. Sam Ehlinger threw for 11,000 yards, passed for 94 touchdowns, and had 33 rushing scores. He was a multi-time All-Big 12 selection and emotional leader of this program during its rebuild years. Texas didn't dominate the decade, but they definitely finished like a powerhouse. Now at number 8, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. This represents them really well with elite consistency without a championship finish. They had an overall record of 95-30. They had one conference championship, being an ACC championship in 2020. No national championships, so they had a Citrus Bowl win and a Camping Memorial Bowl win. They had reliable NFL pipeline. Quentin Nelson allowed 0 sacks in his final season, won the Outland Trophy, and was a unanimous All-American. He has been one of the highest-graded offensive linemen of the decade. Kyron Williams totaled 2,100 rushing yards, 35 touchdowns, and was Notre Dame's offensive MVP and one of the best all-around backs when he played at his years in Notre Dame. Notre Dame stayed elite, just not title-worthy elite. And number 7, we have the LSU Tigers. LSU is defined by historic peak dominance. They had an overall record of 85-45. They had one SEC Conference Championship in 2019 and one national championship also in 2019. They won a Peach Bowl and a Fiesta Bowl, an elite skill position pipeline. Joe Burrow threw for 8,800 yards, 78 touchdowns, and completed 76% of his passes in 2019 alone. He won the Heisman Trophy, a national championship, a Maxwell Award, and Davey O'Brien Award. Jamar Chase caught 107 passes for 9,100 yards and 23 touchdowns on his way to win the Biletnikoff and unanimous All-American Award. LSU's peak season remains one of the greatest seasons by a college football team in history. Now coming in at number 6, the Oklahoma Sooners. This represents them really well with relentless conference dominance. They had an overall record of 125, 6 conference championships being all from the Big 12. Not a national title, but they did have a Sugar Bowl win and a Cotton Bowl win. They are really a quarterback factory. Baker Mayfield threw for 12,000 yards, 119 touchdowns, and completed nearly 70% of his passes on his way to a Heisman Trophy. He was a 2-time Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. Kyler Murray accounted for 5,000 total yards in his season at Oklahoma, 54 touchdowns, and won the Heisman Trophy in one of the most efficient offensive seasons Oklahoma has ever seen. Oklahoma dominated, but they could never win a national title. Coming in at number 5, the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan at 5 really reflects perfect timing and peak execution. They had an overall record of 90-35. They had 3 conference championships, all from the Big Ten. They had 1 national championship. They had a Rose Bowl win and multiple college football playoff semifinal wins. They had an elite defensive pipeline. Aiden Hutchinson recorded 14 sacks, 21 tackles for loss, and finished as a Heisman finalist. He also won Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. J.J. McCarthy went 27-1 as a starter, threw for over 6,000 yards and led Michigan to a national championship. Michigan really did peak at the perfect time. Now, number 4, the Clemson Tigers. They really are defined by sustained excellence. They had an overall record of 105-20, 7 ACC championships, 2 national championships, one of just 3 teams to do this in this time period. They had multiple major bowl wins, elite quarterback and defensive talent. Deshaun Watson counted for 9,100 yards, 90 touchdowns, and won a national title. He was also a 2-time Heisman finalist. Trevor Lawrence went 34-2, threw 90 touchdowns, and won a national championship as a freshman. He was also a unanimous All-American. Clemson was an inevitable team for years and very hard to stop when they were winning. And number 3, the Ohio State Buckeyes. They are defined by never dropping standards. They had an overall record of 105-20, 5 Big Ten Conference championships, 1 national title, where they won a Rose Bowl, a Sugar Bowl, and they have one of the deepest NFL pipelines in the entire country. Chase Young recorded 30.5 career sacks, including 16.5 in one season, and finished as a Heisman finalist. He won the Bednarik Award. C.J. Stroud, on the other hand, threw for 8,100 yards, 85 total touchdowns, and was a 2-time Heisman finalist. Ohio State never dipped, and that's something truly rare. That's why they rank above Clemson. Now, cracking into the top 2, we have the Georgia Bulldogs. They really are modern dominance. They had an overall record of 125. They won 3 SEC Conference championships, 2 national titles. They went back-to-back. They won an Orange Bowl, multiple titles. They had a historic defensive class. Jordan Davis recorded 90 tackles, 7 sacks, and won the Outland Trophy. He was also a unanimous All-American. Stetson Bennett threw for 8,400 yards, 66 touchdowns, won 2 national championships, earning college football playoff title game MVP honors. Georgia dominated the toughest era of this football decade and went back-to-back. Now, to name the number 1 team, it's not even close. It's the Alabama Crimson Tide. They had an overall record of 110-15, 5 SEC Conference championships, 3 national championships, multiple major bowl wins, and had an unmatched NFL draft output. Derrick Henry rushed for 2,200 yards, 28 touchdowns, and won the Heisman Trophy, Maxwell Award, and Doak Walker Award in one historic season. Tua threw for 87 touchdowns to his 11 interceptions, completed 69% of his passes, and won a national championship. He also finished second in Heisman voting. Now, you might not like Alabama, but this is because they were the absolute center and standard of college football for multiple years, and they have been consistent throughout, which ranks them as the number 1 college football team in the last decade. Now, if you've made it this far, you understand something very important. Great programs aren't built on hype, but they're built on how well they perform and the results they get. So now I want to hear from you. Who's ranked too high? Who's ranked too low, and who was going to dominate the next decade? Drop your list in the comments. If you appreciate real data-driven college football analysis, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because this channel breaks down the game the right way. I'll see you guys in the next one.